So we're going to jump in and actually start programming right now. Well, first things first, what is a computer program? Well, a computer program is basically a set of instructions that can be interpreted by sort of a translation piece of software such that it can be understood by the low-level literal machines that are powering your computer, the tiny ones and zeros that are zinging all over the place to make things happen. So you provide a set of instructions. In the middle there's an interpreter that's the background program, like that interprets between the two systems, and then the computer executes the commands. So line of code here is just a computer will execute the code sequentially. So the top, the stuff that we write first, is going to be done first, and the stuff that's further down is going to be executed next. Well, so we're going to start by writing a few functions, and processing makes this process very simple. So, a function is just a single instruction that a computer can carry out. Our first, to call a function, you have to, first of all, know what it is. So, in these programs, they'll have like these documentations of like all the different code that you can utilize. And so here's like the processing reference guide. All of these things that you see here are functions that you can use that other people have just programmed for you to use. So you can tell it to draw a line, a point, a quadrilateral, a rectangle, a square, a triangle, an ellipse. All of these different things. It even has 3D shapes and stuff that are a little bit more complicated, but you're welcome to play around with any of this, of course. Stroke, whether or not to do an outline, how to set the background color. Anyway, there's tons of different commands that you can learn about. So these things aren't mysterious. There's just a place you go to figure out what commands you are able to use right from the start. And one of those commands that we're able to use is, well, I'll bring it back up actually, is ellipse, which is one of the first ones we're going to use. And so if we look here at the ellipse documentation on the processing website, it says we need to write it like this. And here it'll tell you what the parameters are that you're sending it. So like we say we want an ellipse, but then the computer, who is able to do things really fast but has no common sense and needs more clarity, is like, yeah, but where? I need 4 things actually in order to draw this ellipse correctly. I need to know the x coordinate of the ellipse, the y coordinate of the ellipse, and this is just like geometry class or whatever. So this is the top left corner, actually, the x and y. And then the width is the 3rd thing we're going to send it, and the height is the 4th number that we're going to send it. And then we put a semicolon at the end, which tells the computer, hey, that's a complete line of code that I got going right there. So let's just do this. We'll just draw an ellipse at, I don't know, top left 20, 20, and we'll say we want it to be 50 pixels wide and 30 pixels tall. And then if we run our program, we should see a window pop up with an oblong, with an oval drawn. Okay. Oh, and this is actually, I forgot, this is in center mode right now. So this is the center coordinate. You can also change it to be in the top left. But this is the center. So if we wanted this thing to be more centered, we could just say like 60x and 50y, I don't know. And it'll, the complete shape will be in the window now at some point. So you can just kind of start playing around with some of these functions to get a better sense for what they do at first if you want. You can look in the processing reference to get a handle on all this stuff. So if you just search the web for processing reference, it'll bring up this list of different things that you can try drawing, and you just click on one of the methods or functions to learn about how to use it. There's all this documentation here. So just go ahead and play around a little bit.